Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the high rock for a clan meeting.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the second episode of Miouooo, a Warriors Pawedcats. I'm Simon.
And I'm Evelyn, and today we're going to be discussing Into the Wild, chapters 1 and 2.
Yeah. First, though, some other stuff. We have a follow-up from last week.
So we started talking about what happens to cats in StarClan and the Dark Forest who died very long ago. And I was actually reading Fading Echoes a few weeks ago.
And what's Fading Echoes? It's one of the books in the fourth?
Yeah,
group?
it's book 2 in Omen of the Stars.
Okay.
And Jay Feather is in the Dark Forest with Yellowfang, or maybe just StarClan. Anyway, this passage says, Jay Feather began to realize that other pelts were paler too. Some were so ghostly they hardly seemed there at all, more like mist than flesh. Anyway, so those were cats that were just there a long time and were starting to be forgotten.
So they literally fade away.
Yeah, they just got paler. Also, interestingly, there was some Firestar dead version there, even though Firestar is still alive. So like some of his lives were in StarClan.
Oh my god, really? So like each time if you're a leader and you lose a life, like a little bit of yourself goes to StarClan each
Pretty
time?
scary, right?
Wow, that's so cool. Okay. Well, is it cool? I don't know. You decide. So one thing that we wanted to do that we neglected to do last episode was discuss the book covers. So there's more than one book cover. The original one has an image of presumably, Rusty, Firepaw, Fireheart, whatever you want to call it, in the center in like a box, just like sitting there, tail curled above his paws, sunlight, beaming down. And then like the rest of the cover, like in the background, there's forest, and then there's some tall grasses, and there's two cats who look to be in opposition.
It looks like they're about to lunge at each other.
Yeah, one of them is yowling or something, or hissing, or I don't know what.
But I don't know who those cats are.
Yeah, I guess one of them looks to be a tortoiseshell of some sort.
The other one is a gray tabby.
Yeah. We could have tried to like look in the allegiances and figure out who they were, but I guess we were too lazy.
We didn't do it.
So that's I think the original cover, and that's one that we have too. And then there's this newer one.
It's basically just Rusty, well, part of Rusty's face hiding behind some grass. He's not hiding.
Yeah, very vibrant colors, like definitely better artwork, I would say.
Maybe better artwork, but I think I prefer the original.
You prefer the original style?
I like how there's a box with a cat.
That's true. Very iconic for the Warrior series.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the newer cover shows Rusty as like an actual kitten. And the original one shows like a huge full-grown cat.
A
Like he's
handsome
massive.
Ginger Tom.
Oh. All right.
So,
We're also going to talk about some fandom news whenever there is any, which probably is not very often.
yeah.
And also, we probably won't know about it a lot because all we do is like follow a couple Instagram accounts.
Yeah, but this was pretty big news because an Aaron Hunter was fired.
Yes, Gillian Phillip, the infamous Gillian Phillip saga.
Infamous.
Was fired for transphobia.
Yep.
So I'm gonna read from Gillian Phillip's Bravelands wiki page. Gillian Phillip was formerly one of the authors writing under the name Aaron Hunter. She's a self-proclaimed TERF and worked on the Survivors and Braveland series until she was fired on June 26, 2020. It is not yet known who will take her place on the team or if the Braveland series will continue.
So that's pretty big news, but I'm glad that she never wrote Warriors.
Yeah, it's just Warriors adjacent because it's Aaron Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I'm sure if you just like Google it, you'll see what happened. But she was just going wild um, on Twitter, um, just spewing all sorts of transphobic stuff, doxing people, including children, apparently, um, referring to people who called her out for transphobia as being homophobic.
I don't
I
get
don't,
it.
yeah, I don't understand how that makes any sense. Yeah, and she was pretty promptly fired. I gather that like a lot of fans sent letters to working partners,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they like acted pretty quick, and she was just fired. Sounds good to me.
Yep, it happened. Okay, are we ready to start this chapter?
All right, chapter one. We begin with our protagonist Rusty engaging in the capture of a rodent with the intent of mastication and consumption. But it was only a dream. Rusty wakes up and eats some dry, bland food. Unappetized, he goes outside, crosses the fence, and interacts with his friend Smudge. Smudge has no interest in the forest because he thinks it's dangerous with big animals and wildcats. Rusty ventures further into the forest, notices a mouse, and meets a wild cat. He begins to make friends after an initial scuffle, and they get confronted by two full-grown cats from Gray Stripe's clan. There's the summary for chapter one.
Wow.
It was a summary.
It was.
So this is actually we're doing chapters one and two today, and our summary for chapter one is a lot longer than chapter two. But like also chapter one is much longer, has way more content to it, and chapter two is really just like one setting.
Yep.
Do you want to just dive right in?
Okay, okay.
So this isn't exactly like a serious note.
Most of mine aren't.
Oh, that's good. So this is actually in the first paragraph. His stomach growled, reminding him of his hunger. Hungry for mommy's milk. He's still just a kitten. Kittens drink milk.
He's almost 6 moons old, Simon.
Okay. He also smells the tempting aroma of a small furry creature.
That sounds delicious. I love a mouthful of fur.
Yummy.
It makes me wonder why Simon, like, so Simon here, he's a vegetarian, but
Mostly.
mostly, but I think this might change his mind.
Yeah,
If he
like,
saw a mouse, would you eat it?
well, I've seen mice before. This one time, I mean, not this one time, but our cats have caught lots of mice before. Uh, Evelyn, you've actually caught mice
Sometimes,
physically with your bare hands.
sometimes my cat will let her mouse go, and then what? I'm not just gonna let it go.
Yeah. There's also been like a dead mouse at my work, which actually we just had a photo printed of that today. But I haven't eaten any of them.
Well, do you think you will?
No,
What
I
if
don't
you
think so.
caught it yourself?
Um,
You might feel differently.
yeah, like ethically, I guess that would have a different feel to it. But like when I first became a vegetarian, I hated how factory farms and um, all these animals that just existed just to be eaten, just to be killed and eaten, and that's all they were good for. Um, but now I just kind of don't like it, and I don't care about animals.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe you would say that.
I've grown older, and my heart has hardened.
Wow. This mouse that Rusty is trying to catch, it is 2 tail lengths away.
Yeah, an interesting unit of measurement. We'll see these throughout the books.
It
Tail length is probably the most common one.
it does raise a question in this particular instance though. Is it a kitten tail length or a regular cat tail length?
Yeah, like is it just Rusty's tail, or is it like the average cat tail length? I don't know.
I don't know either,
And how does this compare with the metric system and the imperial system and
but
whatever?
I think a tail length is about a foot and a fox length is about a yard.
Mm. Honestly, like instead of this whole debate between the different measuring systems, let's just move to the warrior system.
I have to agree with that. Rusty is still catching the mouse, and I read it. Suddenly, a flash of gray raced past him. And I thought, whoa, is Grey Paw about to attack him already? I thought that happened later.
Oh,
But
wow.
no, it was just a tiny mouse flashing past him.
A flash of gray flashes past twice in this chapter.
It does.
Alright, so Rusty's trying to hunt this mouse, and a noise scares the mouse away. The sound keeps rattling on, becoming more familiar, and Rusty wakes up. So it was all a dream. It was the rattling of his food dish.
Ah, kibbles, kibbles.
This is quite a familiar sound for us.
It sure is. We have one cat here. My mother has 3 cats.
Yeah, and we've had so many more cats,
Over the years.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, we've had so many more cats over the years, but a lot of them are dead now. So, Rusty had been sleeping inside the kitchen, curled in his bed, and I wondered what kind of bed this is.
Is it like a bed specifically for a cat, or is it like just a regular bed that was in the kitchen?
I'm sure. Why would that be? It was like a cat bed, I'm sure, but I don't know. It's interesting. I'd love to know. I don't think it says, but like, is it just like one small round thing that's just on the floor? There's some sort of tower here. Like, what's the situation?
Yeah. It's probably comfortable. He should have brought it to the Elder's Den when he moved to the clan.
Honestly, like, when Rusty goes to ThunderClan, like, he has the opportunity to bring ThunderClan so many much needed resources. It's kind of sad that he didn't.
Oh, when he woke up, he remembered that he didn't have a collar in his dream.
Oh, yeah.
He could feel the air.
Feel the air on his
Neck.
fur on his neck.
Yes.
Ugh, but God, can you imagine living with a collar around your neck?
That would be so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of our cats have a collar, and like I know, like I understand why people do it, but I don't know. I could never do that.
Yeah. So Rusty is describing the food, his kibbles. He says the food felt dry and tasteless on his tongue. And I just have to say, like, cats like cat food.
They love it.
It's delicious.
I don't think I've ever eaten cat food.
I have.
Yeah, so what did you think?
At the time, it seemed like a good idea.
You didn't enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I liked the way that it dissolved.
Oh.
I have grown out of this.
Oh yeah, sometimes like one kibble will accidentally get into the water dish. It expands so much.
Actually, when Misty was a kitten, I used to mix the kibbles with water to make it into a mush, and then she would lick up the mush.
That sounds pretty bad, but honestly, maybe that'd be good.
She didn't have to chew it so much. Like, those are some big kibbles to chew for such a little mouth.
But isn't there specifically like kitten food that's smaller?
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, it is smaller. I don't know. I don't remember what I did that with.
Okay.
Maybe I was just trying to make Misty eat more water.
She was taking after you with your low water diet.
Yeah, water, it's so bad for you.
But anyways, I wonder what brand of cat food this is, because dry and tasteless on the tongue, like, is it really tasteless?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna buy it that brand.
Oh, okay.
It's that bad.
So Rusty reluctantly swallows one more mouthful, then he goes outside through his cat flap, which, oh, that would be so cool to have.
I love cat flaps.
Yeah, we never had one, but just think of the thousands of times we've opened the door for cats.
They love to go in and out. Actually, Misty doesn't go in and out a bunch, cause like I'll let her out, and then 10 hours later she'll come back in.
That's true. I let her out, like at 12 or something, and here it is, 7:37 p.m. She's still
And
outside.
it rained.
It's been raining. Yeah.
I hope she was sheltering under a bush.
She's probably just in the garage, or just in the barn.
Oh, come on.
Who knows?
A warrior rejects the soft life of the kitty pet.
Misty is a kitty pet, though.
No, she's a warrior at heart.
She can't even catch a fly.
She caught.
She can't even eat a fly.
She couldn't eat it. It was too little for her to chew. But she caught a rabbit and only ate the head, which is a waste of fresh kill.
Oh.
And then she caught a mouse later in the day and ate the whole thing except for, of course, the gallbladder.
Oh.
You're not gonna eat all that bile. That's disgusting.
Yeah, mouse bile.
Like, that's what you... Maybe she was saving it to get rid of her ticks.
Maybe she's actually a medicine cat.
She doesn't have any ticks, though.
Oh, that's not true. She has ticks sometimes.
She doesn't? Okay.
I've seen a tick on her.
She's had a tick, but not very many. Okay, so Rusty, at this point, that was a bit of off topic, but...
It's okay. This is our podcast.
It's ours. So Rusty, he is really feeling the call of the wild. He is really feeling it.
Yeah.
There's so much description about, like, just how he likes the forest.
So we have here, he made his dirt beneath a large bush with glossy green leaves and heavy purple flowers.
What kind of flower is that?
I don't know, but more important, like, what a term to use.
Yeah.
He made his dirt.
I really like it.
Like make water and make dirt.
Uh-huh.
I mean, on one hand, like, I guess it's very, realistic that they don't just ignore that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Like, a lot of books, they don't even mention this stuff.
Yeah, this is true to life. Another passage here. He heard his owners giving him one last call from the back door. If he went to them now, they would greet him with gentle words and caresses, and welcome him onto their bed, where he would curl, purring, warm in the crook of a bent knee.
Who wouldn't choose that?
Why would any cat or like anybody just go into the forest when they could have that life?
Doesn't it sound so cozy?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's ignoring his two legs and he goes out through the cat flap and hangs out in the garden. And then he's like, no, I want to go to the forest now. But luckily he meets
Smudge. It says, "Where are you off to, Rusty?" meowed a familiar voice behind him. This is after he jumps down onto the other side of the fence. Rusty looked up. A young black and white cat was balancing ungracefully on the fence.
Smudge is going to be described as a rather lazy and fat cat.
Yeah.
After he comes back from the cutter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. That's so sad. Like, poor Smudge.
But
ungracefully.
That hasn't happened yet. But
yeah.
I guess he's ungraceful anyway.
They're really coding the anti-kitty pet sentiment early on.
Mm-hmm. We'll definitely see a lot more of that throughout this entire series.
Yeah. Although, actually, in the later series, in the later books, like, especially when they go to the lake, there's not a ton of kitty pet stuff, is there?
There's not a ton. It's still, like, it still happens, though.
Yeah, okay. So, now they're talking about Henry.
Smudge and Rusty are talking about Henry, who lives nearby.
That fat old tabby never went into the woods, Rusty scoffed. He's hardly been beyond his own garden since his trip to the vet. All he wants to do is eat and sleep. No, really, he caught a robin there, Smudge insisted. Well, if he did, then it was before the vet. Now he complains about birds because they disturb his dozing. So there's a lot to unpack there. What thoughts do you have on that?
Well, here's this stuff about the cutter making cats fat and lazy, basically. I did look that up. Actually, like, does being neutered make a cat fat and lazy? And it somewhat sometimes, but usually it just makes them less disgusting.
Okay. Yeah. So we do have one male cat, George. He got neutered. Is he fat? I mean, he's not thin.
He's a healthy weight.
Yeah, he's definitely not thin though.
He's a little old, so the laziness. Yeah.
But also, like, he was never, even before the cutter, he was never like the most playful kitten.
No, our cat Orangey had a whole litter of kittens, and nobody took George, so we kept him.
That's true. Poor George.
Nobody wanted to take home such a cute, sweet kitten.
So I also found it interesting that Rusty calls the vet and not the cutter here. So it's like sometimes kitty pets know human terms for things.
Yeah, that is weird. And then cats don't. But then, like, they still know names for, like, mice.
Yeah, like how come a mouse is a mouse, whether it's cat or human, but the vet is either the vet or the cutter, or two legs, or monster, or thunderpath.
Right? Like, you'd think they'd know all the words if they are using English.
Yeah. So I guess one argument is the books are translated from cat language to English. So there is a translation for the cat's word for mouse to the English word for mouse, but there isn't a translation for car. Like, what is a car for a cat? Like, they're just gonna call that what they think it is, a monster, and that's the translation. You know, that word in cat translates to monster in English.
I guess so.
Just thought of that. Yeah.
So, Smudge, he has amber eyes, and
Hmm.
eye color, I realize, is so important in these books. It's
Oh yeah.
mentioned so much. And I don't know, it's just like, it's weird when I'm reading, and I just start thinking of whatever cat I'm reading about, and then I'm like, oh, what color eyes does that cat have? Like, who
Hmm.
cares? But I,
Yeah.
it's like a very common adjective, the eye
Yeah.
color.
Yeah. That does sound right to me. I haven't read these books actually in years, and you just did a reread
I'm still
like pretty
working on
recently.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you definitely remember a lot more than I do. But yeah, I remember that too. Well, anyway, Smudge went on, ignoring the scorn in Rusty's mew. Henry told me there are all sorts of dangerous animals out there. Huge wildcats who eat live rabbits for breakfast and sharpen their claws on old bones. Uh, so one of those things is not like the other. Cats eat rabbits, yeah, they catch and eat prey, but sharpening their claws on old bones?
Maybe Tiger Star.
Yeah, maybe Tiger Star. Interesting for Smudge to, compare the two as if they're similar.
Yeah, like eating rabbits, like that's not very scary.
No, humans do that, but not very many humans sharpen their claws on old bones, or like use an old bone as like a nail file. I guess that's the comparison.
Yeah, they're just grooming. It's not scary.
So here we have more fat shaming of Smudge.
Oh gosh.
The black and white cat turned and plunged off the fence back to down into his own garden.
Poor Smudge.
Uh, if like when Rusty did that, he like gracefully leaps off the fence, but Smudge just plunges right down.
Smudge is just a kitten too, though, isn't he?
Yeah, it's just
Aw.
I don't know. It's
Childhood
really
obesity.
I don't know. Is Smudge really that heavy though?
I doubt it.
I mean, what kittens are actually overweight? Have
I
you ever seen an overweight kitten?
I don't think so.
Who knows? I don't know.
So Smudge and Rusty stop talking, and immediately Rusty decides to go into the forest, even though Smudge has like just said how bad it is. And very soon after he gets to the forest, he sees a mouse.
Yummy.
Delicious, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets away because he moves his neck and his collar has a bell on it and makes a noise.
Yeah. But actually, so it says he's like, crouching, and it says, then a sudden noise of cracking twigs and crunching leaves made him jump.
Oh, so that's what made the bell jangle treacherously.
Yeah. So maybe he would have caught it. Who knows?
So yeah, and then there's this thing where Rusty sees a foxtail or something.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. Rusty stood very still and looked around. He could see the white tip of a red bushy tail trailing through a clump of tall ferns up ahead.
And then
It's
this
neither cat nor dog. You can tell by the scent.
yeah. I think it's a fox.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't realize when I was reading through earlier that there was just a fox there.
Right? Like that was
It's
such a
crazy.
big deal. I'm surprised that like none of the other cats who were at the scene like smelled fox and like attacked the fox.
Yeah,
But
like it's a fox. Like my God, at least it's not a badger.
right, badgers. Ugh. How dangerous.
Rusty realizes that something's going on. There's somebody else there. It says the creature hit him like an explosion, and Rusty was thrown sideways into a clump of nettles. Like, oof, ouch, owie.
Were they stinging nettles?
Oh, I don't know. I guess there's different types of nettles.
I hope it was not a stinging nettle. Although it might not penetrate through his thick fur.
Yeah, his handsome, thick fur.
Oh god, poor kitten. So let's start talking about fight noises.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and read this?
He was lucky. The ploy seemed to work. He heard a huff beneath him as the breath was knocked out of his attacker.
Huuuffff. Like, what a noise to write.
We'll get to this later. I think chapter 7?
Yeah, chapter 7 is the best chapter,
It's my favorite.
really, of any book.
It's my favorite chapter of definitely of the Warriors.
Cannot wait. That's probably going to be a one chapter episode, I can imagine.
Yeah, we're gonna spend a long time discussing this. So yeah, he's getting attacked by Grey Paw, another kitten who has spiked teeth, incredibly sharp claws, and hit him like an explosion.
Jeez.
Right. This is quite the kitten.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And again, another kitten. Rusty's clearly a kitten. Why did Aaron Hunter say that Rusty was handsome? Like, children aren't handsome. Like, sorry. I don't like that kind of talk.
Mm-mm. So, as I was reading this, I realized that all of this is happening at night.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Um,
But it's a cat, so, they
yeah,
can see.
I just was a little surprised.
I wasn't picturing it as nighttime either in the forest, even though I knew, like in the garden, I knew that was night there.
Yeah. And then that's also because then Rusty's supposed to give his answer of if he's going to join the clan or not by sun high. That means, like, that's just a few hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's not enough time to decide.
That's really not. I mean, that's really unreasonable.
Yeah, so I don't know how he decided that.
I mean, like, usually when you get a job offer, you have more than, like, 4 hours to decide. You might have, like, a week. Give Rusty a week, Blue Star.
That's reasonable.
Like, this is a lot to think about. It's a huge life change.
Okay, so they're fighting, and then Greypaw just, like...
Kind of stops.
He just
and he
stops.
starts being friendly.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Hi there, kitty pet, mewed the gray Tom cheerily. You put up quite a fight for a tame kitty. So I did have the thought, kitty pet, shouldn't it be called two-leg pet? Because it's a pet of the two legs?
Oh.
No, I mean, okay.
But it's nice how Greypaw is using Kitty Pet in a friendly way this time.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not always so derogatory.
Yeah.
Also, so Rusty drops down into his pads. I just wanted to say, pads are my favorite cat body part. The pads of their paws.
Mickey has some pink and some black.
Aw, so nice.
It's cute. Oh, so Greypaw introduces himself, and immediately Rusty is thinking, like, he didn't understand what this Grey What's-It was meowing about. But Greypaw just said what his name was.
How do you forget somebody's name instantaneously? Like, literally, I'm Greypaw, by the way. I'm trained to be a ThunderClan warrior. Rusty remained silent. He didn't understand what this Grey What's-It was meowing about. So, Greypaw asks, what's a kitty pet like you doing out in the woods? Don't you know it's dangerous? I didn't see anywhere that made it sound like Rusty, like, went far into the woods. Like, it sounds like he's just right at the very edge.
Yeah, I don't know if you can call it in the woods. Like,
yeah.
He went to the trees, he saw a mouse, and then he was attacked.
Yeah, like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's in the middle of the woods.
I mean, all this dialogue here, like, it makes it sound like it's further into the woods. And maybe it is, and, they just didn't write that.
Maybe the woods are so small. that he is in the middle of the woods.
Maybe.
But it is dangerous because of that fox.
Yeah, we just saw a fox. It's a dangerous predator. It kills cats.
It does.
Also, are you imagining these cats with an English accent? Because they're English.
I wasn't. And of course, still, Gray Paw is still spelled with an A.
Yeah.
Instead of an E.
I have also been imagining them in an American accent.
Yeah, although I mean,
because we're American.
We are. I shouldn't be because I mean, what English cats? But I just can't help it. That's what they sound like in my head.
So Grey Paw refers to Rusty as an intruder, and Rusty felt a thrill of fear at these ominous words. What did this cat mean by intruder? Doesn't make a ton of sense why Rusty would think that to me. Grey Paw lives in the woods. Rusty went into the woods, so Rusty literally intruded into the woods where Grey Paw lives. Yeah, and that's what that means.
It's pretty simple, Rusty. So they're still talking, and already we see a bias against Shadow Clan. Here, Grey Paw says, Shadow Clan, they're so fierce they would have ripped you to shreds. No questions asked.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, like, intra-clan propaganda. Like, obviously, all the clans, from the perspective of cats in that clan, they all think the same thing. Their clan is, righteous.
And the other clans are bad.
Like, bad and scary, and, they'll rip you to shreds. It's kind of silly.
I mean, Shadow Clan, they were going through some stuff at this point.
Okay, yeah.
But you get the point. But I feel like especially ThunderClan just hates Shadow Clan.
Yeah. I don't know if that's really fair. ThunderClan is like Gryffindor.
ThunderClan is Gryffindor, Shadow Clan is Slytherin.
Yeah.
I think I don't know about the other two.
Yeah, Wind Clan and River Clan don't have as much of a personality.
I think Wind Clan's slightly more Hufflepuff, more hardworking,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense to me.
I don't see a strong one either way.
Yeah. Grey Paw mentions the other clans, and then other clans, Rusty echoed, confused. Grey Paw let out an impatient hiss. Like, why would Rusty know about the other clans? Come on.
Well, he's learned all about the scary wildcats that live in the forest. That sharpen their claws.
Yeah, it's really sad to see, in that other quote we just read, Grey Paw fell victim to ThunderClan's jingoistic propaganda. Yeah, it's really sad to see. So, in reference to Grey Paw, Rusty thinks, in fact, it was hard not to admire this confident kitten. So you're not a warrior yet? He asked. So, confident kitten. So you're not a warrior?
I mean, has he... No, Grandpa's just talking about how he hasn't finished his training.
Yeah, literally in the paragraph before, when I've finished my training. Okay. I guess, sometimes when you meet somebody new, you ask awkward questions, you misspeak.
Yeah.
I understand.
It could just, I don't know, he could just be trying to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here, why don't you find yourself an owner with a nice cozy house instead? Your life would be much easier, Rusty meowed. There are plenty of housefolk who'd take in a kitten like you. All you have to do is sit where they can see you and look hungry for a couple days. So, Pine Star, right?
That's my favorite. I really like that part where Pine Star just quit.
Yeah. I'd like to just be a kitty pet.
Did you hear that?
Oh my god, it's Misty. Come here, Misty. We're talking about cats. Oh, Misty, say something for the show. Oh.
She won't now because she's on my lap.
Oh, cute cat.
Okay, so what does Grey Paw say about not wanting to be a kitty pet?
Grey Paw says, if they'd feed me pellets that looked like rabbit droppings and soft slop, Grey Paw interrupted. No way. I can't think of anything worse than being a kitty pet. They're nothing but two-legged toys, eating stuff that doesn't look like food, making dirt in a box of gravel.
How does he know about that?
I know, right? Grey Paw maybe has some secrets. Sticking their noses outside only when the two legs allow them, except the cat flap.
Right.
That's no life. Out here it's wild, and it's free. We come and go as we please, except...
Like, within their own territory, which is too small.
But also, like, there's a whole clan structure, and they can't just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Time to train.
He finished his speech with a proud spit,
I love that.
then meowed mischievously. Until you've tasted a fresh-killed mouse, you haven't lived. Have you ever tasted mouse? Just what an amazing passage that is.
I really like that entire paragraph.
Yeah, amazing.
I love how he finishes his speech with a proud spit.
You would like that.
No, it was disgusting.
So at some point, Grey Paw smells cats from his clan and tries to get Rusty to leave. Too late. Rusty turned to see a large gray she-cat strolling majestically out from the undergrowth. She was magnificent. White hairs streaked her muzzle, and an ugly scar parted the fur across her shoulders. But her smooth gray coat shone like silver in the moonlight. It's Blue Star.
It is Blue Star.
Then a second cat, a handsome golden tabby, also appears. This is actually a fully grown handsome cat, so not as objectionable, but still notable. So they talk some more. Then, this is Blue Star. She's leader of my clan. Greypaw hissed to Rusty under his breath. And Lionheart. He's my mentor, which means he's training me to be a warrior. Thank you for the introduction, Greypaw, meowed Lionheart coolly. That's very silly.
It is silly. Cats being silly. So Blue Star and Lionheart have been watching Greypaw and Rusty for like the whole scene.
Yeah, very sneaky.
I'm surprised they didn't get attacked by that fox that was also watching.
I know. Maybe the fox was watching them watching the cats. Who was watching the mouse. Blue Star tells Rusty, "You fight well for a two-leg pet." And Rusty and Greypaw exchange confused glances. How could she know? They've been watching them both, and Blue Star says, "We wondered how you would deal with an intruder, Greypaw. You attacked him bravely."
But how did they know that Rusty was going to choose this moment to go into the forest?
Yeah, I don't know. And also, Greypaw also just like kind of stopped attacking at one point.
He
just
did.
Like, decided to stop. Which
and then chatted cheerily.
Yeah, which like I think that was the right thing to do for sure. Not just like viciously attack a stranger for no reason. Sit up now, both of you. Blue Star looked at Rusty. You too, kitty pet.
Is kitty pet a slur?
Yeah. And Blue Star says this just after Blue Star had just observed the anger in Rusty's eyes from being referred to as a kitty pet earlier. Interesting that she decided to use that. Blue Star's pretty smart. I'm sure that was the tactic that she implemented. So Blue Star is complimenting Rusty. Says that he has a natural hunting ability, he was fighting well, would have caught the mouse if he had not hesitated. Then Lionheart spoke. His deep meow was respectful but insistent. It's very Lionheart. Blue Star, this is a kitty pet. He should not be hunting in ThunderClan territory. Send him home to his two legs. Now, plenty of prey to share.
No, there's no prey to share.
I mean, there's not a ton of cats in the clan.
There's 25, I believe.
Oh, really? That's more than I thought.
There was 25, and I thought... And Blue Star made it clear then that the clan does not have any more territory with any more prey to spare. And I thought, wow, is that real? Because I remember the number of cats in ThunderClan growing and growing as the series went on.
Yeah.
But no, I checked the last book before they left for the lake, and it's 25 cats still, exactly.
Oh, so it remained the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then later in, like, for instance, Omen of the Stars book 1, there's, like, 34 cats.
Oh.
So.
See, I thought it was, like, way more.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Like in the later books. Rusty had my thought, I guess. I've only come here to hunt for a mouse or two. I'm sure there's enough to go around. Blue Star is furious.
Yeah.
There's never enough to go around, she spat. If you didn't live such a soft, overfed life, you would know that. Like, my god. Like, this is a child. The chapter ends with Rusty being scared that they're gonna, like, kill him.
These were not cozy fireside cats.
They were mean, hungry cats. Who were probably gonna finish what Grey Paw had started. Do you have any more notes for chapter 1?
Only that Blue Star has been spying on Rusty, she said, and that makes me more sure that Blue Star has Rusty in mind for the fire that will save the clan.
Yeah, true. Alright. Chapter 1 complete.
Time for chapter 2. The summary is Rusty intermuse Blue Star and Lionheart so the reader, Rusty, can learn about clan ways, and Blue Star invites him to join ThunderClan.
Yeah. Definitely a different type of chapter. Much shorter, and as you said, kind of just an info dump. But a chapter nonetheless.
Rusty agrees not to hunt in Thunderland territory again, which, spoiler, he does.
Yeah, because he joins the clan. Just think of all the mice and voles and squirrels he catches.
He stole them from ThunderClan.
You threaten our clan when you take our food, yowled Blue Star. You have plenty of food in your two-leg nest already. You come here only to hunt for sport, but we hunt to survive. As we were talking about with the cat bed, when Rusty joins ThunderClan, like if ThunderClan is so desperate for food, just like bring your kibbles with you.
I wish they could do this, but it breaks the warrior code.
That's so stupid.
Warriors reject the soft life of a kitty pet.
But you're eating it in the forest, so it's okay. And like, what's more dangerous? Catching a mouse which can't hurt you, or going in to a two-leg home, a two-leg nest, and stealing from them? It's a two-leg. It can do whatever it wants to a cat. It's
Yeah,
huge.
it's no soft life.
Yeah, not soft life at all. But honestly, like it would be like, imagine if like cats from clans just like went to two-leg nest and stole food. But it's not a soft life at all. That's so dangerous. They should totally just do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Good to have some variety in your diet.
the variety of a dry, tasteless kibble. A succulent, juicy kibble, more like.
There's this passage.
But kitty pets can't be warriors, Grey Paw blurted out. They don't have warrior blood.
Kind of messed up.
So, basically, they're just talking about the clan, and Rusty's learning about it, and we're learning about it. And Blue Star makes part of it sound good, and part of it sound really bad. And then Rusty thinks it sounds really good.
So yeah, Blue Star offers for Rusty to join the clan, and Lionheart says, "If you wish to train with us, we will have to take you into our clan. You must either live with us and respect our ways, or return to your two-leg place and never come back. You cannot live with a paw in each world."
I love all these reminders that they're actually cats.
I know. I do find it, like, it's supposed to be such a serious, dramatic line there, but a paw in each world just takes me out of
It is rather silly.
it. I can tell that you're still a Tom, Blue Star added, despite the two-leg stench that clings to your fur. What do you mean, still a Tom? Uh,
More talking about the cutter.
yeah.
And the warriors actually call it the cutter, whereas the kitty pets just called it the vet.
Yeah. Rusty was confused. He suddenly thought of Henry, who had become fat and lazy since his visit to the vet. Was that what Blue Star meant by the cutter?
Of course it was!
So let's talk about the cutter, like that term. Is it really just snip snip? And that's how they're neutered?
I don't know, I mean, they use a rubber band for the goat.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. For a goat, they're just a very thick, like heavy duty rubber band. You just put it around and then they fall off.
Yeah, but that takes a while, whereas neutering operation. Oh, there's a bunny in the lawn!
Was it one of yours?
No! My bunnies are enclosed.
So you think.
My bunny also is in a cottontail.
So yeah, I actually meant to look that up, but then I didn't, so. anybody who's listening to this also has the capability to Google. They can look that up too if they want.
And they should.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not have very many notes for this part.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like how it ended. The rustling leaves seemed to whisper his name into the shadows. Rusty. Rusty. And then later, the burning leaves whisper his new name into the shadows. Fireball!
When is that?
In Rising Storm, when there's that fire. It's like...
Very common trope in the Warrior series.
The fire? What?
No. The whisper, the seeming to whisper your name.
Is it really?
I mean...
Maybe. I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's very common. Okay. So I don't have any more notes. You don't have any more notes?
No, but that was a lot.
Yeah. That was a nice long episode, actually. We weren't sure how much material we'd get from each chapter. And as we can see, it can vary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this
Warriors
journey.
Adventure!
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.